Joining us now, a couple of people who have different views on this. Ben Jones is a former congressman and actor, and he supports the flying of the Confederate flag. Joe Beasley, meanwhile, is with the Rainbow Push Coalition. He opposes it. Good morning, gentlemen. We're so grateful to have both of you here.
Good morning. Great to be here.
Thank you. So, Ben, I want to start with you. In light of everything that's happened in Charleston, why do you support? I think a lot of people, first off, want to know, why do you support the flying of the Confederate flag in the first place?
Christy, first of all, I'd like to say, I just heard my good friend, the Reverend Floyd Flake, an old colleague of mine, say that this could have happened anywhere. He's right. We're a country of over 300 million people. And if there are just a few thousand deranged people, then we have an enormous problem. And we've seen evidence of this. It's a much larger issue than the symbol of a war that was fought 150 years ago. Let me say clearly that we of all races suffer from this unspeakable act of evil, and that our hearts and our minds and our prayers are with those at Emmanuel AME Church. Further, let me say that there are 70 million Americans who are descended from the Confederacy. And when we say heritage, not hate, when we say pride, not prejudice, that is what we feel. We are not hateful people. We are loving people. I was in the civil rights movement. I've always fought for the rights of all of my brothers and sisters, and I think Dr. King had it right. The sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners should be sitting together at the table of brotherhood, and in this case, generating light rather than heat. And when people use these awful incidents like this to make political hay, I think it's wrong. And I
but
think
Mr. Jones, you can understand why this
reflective period about this.
You can understand why this is a very divisive issue for so many people. Yes, the Confederate flag.
Well, I've dealt. Excuse me. Yeah. Oh, I hear what you're saying. I frankly believe that 98% of the display of the flag is benign and well-intentioned, and intention and context are very important when we talk about this thing.
Okay.
We mean no. It is intention. If it's seen in a film or on the Dukes of Hazzard, which I was on, in a positive light, it's a harmless thing. I've seen it on bags of rice and on travel posters and things like that.
Okay, I want to.
It represents a spirit, and there are those obviously hate groups and white supremacists like these idiots who have maligned it and desecrated it by using it as a hateful symbol.
Okay, so Joe.
There's no doubt about that, but we do not.
Okay, I understand that. Ben, thank you for clarifying. Joe, he says that it's benign. How do you feel? Help us understand.
Well, it really is deeper than that. We have to go back a long ways to really kind of understand that. You know, when we were brought to this country from Africa to work and to be servants and to be, we were simply a commodity.
So when you see that flag flying,
when I see
help
that
us understand
flag,
how that feels.
It really it's alienating. I was recently in Montgomery, Alabama, to deal with the march from Selma to Montgomery. And I happened to drive to the back of the state capitol in Alabama, and that Confederate flag is flying there. And it was very offensive to me because it is a symbol of hate, it's a symbol of divisiveness, it's a symbol of rebellion. And I think that in such a time that people understand that and have the sensitivity that it's about human degradation, then we're going to have issues and problems. And to hear this former congressman still, in the face of all of this, maintain that attitude, it suggests that he's either, you know, not a very sensitive man, or he's not an honest man.
Well, there was Marion Kimpson, who's a South Carolina state senator, who said there's been a great debate over the last several days about removing divisive symbols. We need to take symbols of the past down in South Carolina and put those symbols in places like museums where history is appropriately recorded. We will have to wait and see if anything like that happens. But Ben Jones, Joe Beasley, we appreciate both of your thoughts here. Thank you so much.
I just had a personal attack on me. Can I respond?
Yes, go right ahead, Ben.
Yeah, that's just a terribly inappropriate thing to say. We're trying to build bridges here. Slavery existed under the American flag for a long, long time, and from 1619 on. And to accuse my ancestors of being hateful and racist and all this stuff is just...
But Ben, owning another
It's
person is
absolutely
seen as
a
hatred.
wrong-headed thing to say. It's much more complex than that. Slavery
is.
was a northern industry. The profits went to Wall Street. The North had slavery. It promulgated it under the American flag. And
Well,
you
you
want
know,
to
that
heap all
kind
of
of
this
tirade,
outrage
that kind of
on
tirade
me.
is what you know, is a cancer that's growing in
I'm
our
not
country.
questioning your integrity, sir.
Well, I'm
I'm
not
not
questioning
questioning your
yours either, but
integrity.
your
You did.
insistence that
You did
we
indeed.
need to
You said I was
have
dishonest.
this divisive symbol flying amongst us. It belies your preachments.
It's obviously something that I
70
know that you
million of
all,
us are
it's a
descended
huge
from those
debate.
who
A lot of people have very strong feelings and very passionate feelings on both sides of it. And again, we appreciate both of your thoughts. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, I'm being told, Ben, did you want to finish something there? Did you have one more thing you wanted to say, Ben?
Absolutely. I think that this kind of divisiveness that I hear turns people against people. We are not hateful people. We do not see it as a hateful symbol. We understand that people can feel differently about it. We understand that our flag has been desecrated. We know that slavery is the national sin from 1619 on,
Well, when are you
not
going
the
to-
southern sin.
When are you going to, you know, do something about repaying the people that worked for 246 years in this country for free?
I'm all
We
for
need-
that, sir. I'm
you
all
are.
for that.
So you're
I-
for
Yes, I was.
reparations? You're
I
for
don't-
reparations? Are you
No, I'm not
suggesting
for
that?
reparations.
Well, why aren't you then?
But
Why aren't you for
certainly vote
reparations?
job.
Why aren't you for reparations? If you work for
Where do we start
246
with
years and don't get
reparations?
any money,
My people were indentured. They were brought here too, basically as slaves,
no,
as commodities.
no. The lie that you came here seeking religious freedom is just a bald-faced lie. And under such time as we begin to deal with reality, we're going to have these kind of conflicts.
Obviously, this is a conflict that is going to continue on. There are so many discussions that have to go on,
Well,
and a lot of people say there are
Joe, I'm
hearts
not
that need to
insulting
change,
you.
so we can
I'm
get beyond
not insulting
it.
you. I'm willing to sit with you at any table at any time, at the table of brotherhood.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Talk
Okay.
about
Well, you know
America.
what? We'll
Let's
see if
do
we
it.
can make
I'm
that
ready.
happen. We will see if we can make that
I'd love
happen.
to do it.
Gentlemen, we would love for that to happen and bring some healing and peace here. Thank you so much.